Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody. Well, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, the Flipping Hippo, and today is Tuesday. Hey, everybody. Well, welcome into the... amateur mistake there, guys. Sorry. It's Tuesday, July 7th, and I didn't have myself muted. That's okay. Welcome to Amateur Hour. Everybody, welcome in. I'm going to say hi to some folks in the chat. There's Mary McQueen. Guys, say hi to Mary. She's the one who did her debt-free shout-out on Dave Ramsey's show last week. So excited. That's got to be like the best feeling ever. It is the best feeling ever. We don't have any debt either. If you don't follow Dave Ramsey, you should. Noam and the Frog are here. That's Bill and David with the Blue Wrench guys. Say hi to them. Simple to Faith is here for a live. Lindsay, welcome in. Stark Raven Wild, welcome in. Live breaks up the boredom of quarantine. Yeah. Megan's here. Greg, hi Greg. Yeah, Megan Winnie, I just saw your message come in. 7 p.m. as always. That's Tammy's here and Lisa's here. Welcome in, everyone. So in case you're wondering what me and Megan are conspiring about, I asked Megan to come on the show because I know you guys always love to have Megan on. She did agree to the 21st if 7 p.m. is good for her. That'll be 2 weeks from tonight. I'll have Megan on. And I plan to do a show with her much like the one I just did with Robert, except about jeans. So it'll be all about why we love selling jeans. And then a week from today, next Tuesday on the 14th, I have a very special guest from List Perfectly. Their new, I think she's a CEO or CFO. Her name's Alex. I got to get with her and get the gist of it down. But I will be having a gal, a representative of List Perfectly on next Tuesday night to talk about List Perfectly. They have been dropping stuff over there like mad. They have tons of new platforms, tons of new features. In addition to the bulk listing, you guys remember me promoting that. So we'll have her on to talk about that. And then the next week, Megan will be on. So the next 2 weeks should be really exciting. Tonight, we're just going to talk about wholesale, but wholesale is pretty exciting too, right? Carrie Berry's mom is here. Welcome in. Mary says she was super nervous. I could actually tell, Mary, when Keith and I watched it, when you first started talking, you seemed really shaky, and the more you talked, the more you got into it, like the more comfortable you could tell. But at first I was like, Keith, poor thing, she's so nervous. You could tell, but that had to be like really amazing. I am jealous that you met Dave. Just gonna tell you that. Ginger says she loves List Perfectly. And Shelly's here. I haven't seen Shelly on a live show in a long time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys, let's get into it. So the title of this is How Wholesale Saved Our Reselling Business. And I'm sure most of you have already been able to guess that the reason we needed the save from wholesale was because of the shutdown. She says I should go. No, don't have any debt. Haven't had any for years. I'm losing track of my mind. Okay, I'm losing track of my mind. I don't know where it went. So when the shutdown happened, if you're a long-time viewer, maybe even if you're new, you've heard me say that September of last year, Keith and I decided that enough was enough and that we were going to attack and get rid of all of our death piles and all of our I don't want us, and that we were not going to source until they were all gone. And then, of course, we went to Florida in October. We ended up sourcing anyway. But the thrifting in Florida is so much better than here in Pittsburgh. We found so much great stuff. So we brought that back with us. But other than thrifting, you should always thrift if you're in another state, always, because you're always going to find different brands and different things than you can find in your own state. But we came home and we didn't thrift at all until it was done. And I mean, we went through the death piles. We went through the I don't want us. We went through our inventory and everything that had fallen off of eBay. We got relisted. We pulled a ton of stuff out of our store that was had bad photos from the beginning when we were new. We pulled a lot of that, rephotographed it, and put it back in, and a lot of it sold. It's amazing what good photos can do, guys. But we worked on that pretty steadily, and then like towards the middle of February, we finished. We were done. We got through everything. I bought the giant wholesale lot of plush from Greg, and we decided we were going to start thrifting again. And we got to go twice, and boom, shut down. And we had no way of getting inventory without finding a way to get it online or from other resellers. So we got really swift about it, really clever about it, really fast, trust me. Now, we did start the wholesale business with Casey in December, the liquidation lots for less. It's a Shopify where we help other resellers offload their inventory. We're going to talk more about that at the end. So we kind of we have a good feel for what we should be paying for it, where we can look for it. Clearly, we have a lot of connections via social media. I know a lot of YouTubers. I have a lot of followers on Instagram. I know a lot of people through Casey. Megan has hooked me up a couple of times onto some people that sell wholesale. We're going to talk about that too, your networks, your networking, and your connections. But it saved us, because if we hadn't, pulled up our bootstraps and really got into it and really decided that we were going to have to start purchasing wholesale lots and really looking for them and really making deals, we wouldn't have had inventory until a couple weeks ago. I want to say it was, we got to go twice, and then everything shut down, and our Goodwill's probably opened back up maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I don't remember. I'm trying to think about how many haul videos I've done since I came back to YouTube after my break in May. I may have done 2 or 3 haul videos. So we've only been going back 2 or 3 weeks now to Goodwill. So even if you say like the end of June, the middle of June, that would have been all of March, April, May. That would have been 4 months without any inventory. And we would have not had a business anymore. I mean, we still would have had affiliate links. Whatever we had would have sold, I guess. But I really am a firm believer in an active store as a happy store. So even if you have 4,000 items listed, if you're not listing new items and keeping Cassini happy, not proving to the algorithm that you're active, you're not going to sell as much. So the way our reselling business works is it's a lot of different streams of income that come into one or two giant rivers that come into a pond, if you can imagine that simile. So if we lose 1 or 2 streams, we're screwed, because we have built this business to be, just all these little streams, the affiliate links, the YouTube, the guides that we sell, the store and closet reviews that I do, and the eBay and the Poshmark and the Amazon and the Grailed now and Macari. All of these little things come in. And if we didn't have inventory, we lose like our biggest streams. Our biggest chunk really is eBay. And then Poshmark, Grailed, and Macari. So wholesale literally saved our business. If we did not figure out how to get inventory delivered here wholesale, we would have been, as my mother used to say, up shit creek without a paddle. So now one of the ways, obviously there's ThreadUp. A lot of us turned to ThreadUp in the beginning. There are a lot of reputable people on Instagram who do reseller lots, reseller boxes. Just make sure you do your research. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Don't just willy-nilly buy from someone and trust that they're going to be a trusted person. We'll talk more in depth. So we needed inventory. We couldn't go anywhere to get it. We had to figure it out. So we did. So where can you buy wholesale from? Let me catch up with the chat first. I'm planning a cross-country move in about 9 months, so I've been busy behind the scenes. I didn't know that, Shelly. Well, that's pretty cool. Good luck with your move. We're planning one soon, too. A lot sooner than we had thought we were going to, but stuff happens, and you got to roll with it, right? So Swimmerization says, hi, Star. The shutdown had been good for me, forcing me to list from my death pile. I hopefully have a smaller stockpile in the future. And $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Can I do a video about Grailed? Sure. Let me write that down. I have a list of videos I'm meaning to do in my bullet journal. Just so busy all the time. I want to do one about Grailed, yeah, because it's newer to a lot of you. It's available on List Perfectly now too. Okay, so let's talk about where to get your wholesale. ThreadUp is a good place. You can look on Instagram and Poshmark. There's a lot of sellers that have an overabundance of death piles or way too much inventory, or perhaps they have a secret hookup for wholesale and they try to offload it. Not offload, that's a bad choice of words because that makes it sound like, oh, we're just getting rid of our crap. Megan Mawiney, here, I'll give you a shout out. She has access to auctions that allow her to get a ton of merchandise, new with tags, some really good stuff. I've watched a couple of her unboxing videos on Instagram. They're really good items, but it's more inventory than just Megan can handle by herself. So she boxes it up and sells lots to other sellers. Megan makes a profit because she buys it super cheap, getting the big pallets. She sells it at a little bit more to her followers, so she makes a profit, but she sells it to them at a price where they can then turn around and list it and make themselves a profit, and everybody's happy. People who sell wholesale, generally, that's what they're doing. They have a hookup, they have a connection, they have somewhere that they can buy a lot of inventory on pallets or in Gaylords, just super big lots, really, really cheap. And then it's too much for them to individually list one by one. So they'll sell it off in smaller lots to their followers and people they know so that they can, double their money. We missed out last second today, but we were on an auction and it was going to be like a quarter a piece if we would have won. We got outbid at the last second. But you can sometimes find stuff where you're getting stuff for a quarter and 50 cents a piece or $1 a piece, and it's super good stuff. And then you can resell it for $2, $3, $4 a piece, depending on how good it is or if it's new with tags. You're more than doubling your money. And then the people that are buying it from you can list it one by one and make even more money. Obviously, the way to make the most money is to list it one by one. But again, if you have a connection to get all this inventory, you'd be silly to pass it up. Even if you can't handle it yourself, even if you can't list it one by one and it's too much, you can always sell off smaller lots. That's what Megan does. Ours is a little bit different that we do with Casey. We do sometimes buy like the 55,000 remotes that we purchased. We did sell off in boxes of 100. And we did get like a couple of really big clothing lots that we broke down and sold in boxes on our Shopify. But typically what we do with Casey on our liquidation lots for less is we help folks like you sell your wholesale. So if you get a pallet in or you have a lot of inventory, too much death piles, we help you sell that by putting you in front of our platform of people. Casey has 100,000 followers on YouTube. I have almost 7,000. So we have a bigger reach than most resellers who haven't established a YouTube channel or haven't established a presence on Instagram. And that's fine if you haven't, but if you don't have that kind of a presence, you're not gonna be able to get in front of that many people. So we help you get in front of all of our people and help you sell off your stuff. People who sell wholesale though, I think get a bad rap. A lot of people think, oh, they're just selling all the crap they couldn't sell. They're getting rid of their poop brands. They're getting rid of their junk. That's not true. A lot of times it's just that we have connections to get stuff for 50 cents a piece. We buy it, we sell it to you for $1, $2, and you go on your way. So sometimes it's just us making a quick turnover of a lot of inventory. Sometimes people who sell off these mystery lots or these reseller lots or sell off wholesale, it's just because they have too much. And sometimes people are getting out of clothing. We see that a lot where someone says, I found another source to get this kind of product and I want to sell that and I don't want to do clothes anymore. And they'll sell off all of their clothing because they're moving into something else. It's not always people getting rid of their junk. It's not always people pawning their crap off on you that they couldn't sell. A lot of people selling off wholesale legitimately just have too much don't want to list it one by one, don't want to put that kind of work into it, or they just want rid of one type of inventory. And the other common thing I've seen is storage units. A lot of folks who buy storage units end up with a lot of clothes and don't want to deal with them. And so they'll just sell them off in lots. And that makes sense, because if you're a storage unit buyer and you're looking for like the real treasures and stuff, and you get a ton of clothes, they'll just sell them off. So there's, you can look again on ThredUp, check out the Instagram, and Poshmark peeps. Most of them are good. Just do your research. Make sure that you are checking them out. Make sure they're good, reputable sellers. Bulk is a place you can go. It's BULQ. It's a place where you can do auctions for wholesale. And if you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do a little bit of research and a little bit of work, there's a ton of places out there. I'm not going to name off all of them, because most of us that do find our connections or ways to get this don't really want to tell the whole world, because it makes it harder to get it. There's still plenty enough out there for everybody. You just have to be willing to put in the work and do the research. Go to Google and type in, where can I buy return pallets from Target? Where can I buy offloads from JCPenney's? Where can I buy pallets of remotes? Where can I buy this? Where can I buy that? And you'll usually get a lot of results, and you can from there do your research and figure out which place you want to get from, and make your connections. Another tip I can give you is to watch unboxings. A lot of YouTubers will tell you where they got their stuff when they do unboxings. Not always, not all the time. And again, we can't give you every one of our resources. We can't give that away and create like, if we gave away all of our sources, we would create too many people trying to buy from it and dry it up for ourselves. There's plenty enough out there for everybody if you're willing to do the research. But a lot of times when people do their unboxings, they'll tell you where they got it from. ThredUp is one of the ones I do the most. But like when I got those mystery lots of jeans, and I'm waiting on some lots now that I purchased from a girl that Megan hooked me up with. When those come in, I'm going to tell you her website, and I'm going to tell you how to buy from her, because there's plenty for everyone with her, I think. I'll share her. Plus, she's a fellow reseller, and I want to support her and help get her more business. But like, watch when YouTubers do their unboxings, because a lot of times they will reveal where they got the stuff from, especially if it's from another seller on Poshmark or someone who does boxes. Again, you can, if you're looking to buy, let me give you guys the website over here in the chat. So this is the Shopify that we sell stuff on with Casey. It's called Liquidation Lots for Less. You can go there and browse through. We have everything from jewelry and video games to clothing, all kinds of stuff on there. I did shout out Megan. She has a Shopify as well. Just follow Megan on Instagram. She does a lot of clothing wholesale. And Sydney, the Posh Boss, if you follow her on Instagram, you know her Posh Closet. I don't have it off the top of my head. And she sells reseller boxes as well. So there's those three. ThredUp again, bulk. Look around on Google. And of course, you need to network. Now, earlier I said if you haven't built up a YouTube, that's fine. YouTube isn't for everybody, but I absolutely recommend everybody get a very strong, solid footing within the social media. You need to be on Instagram. I know a lot of people don't like Instagram. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't like learning new things. And Facebook has become Facebook's a comfort zone. Facebook has become a very comfortable place for a lot of people. We're used to it. We know how it works. We are in our groups, reseller groups. We have our friends. And Facebook's very comfortable. But if you want to build up your connections and you want to build up networking for your reselling business, you need to be on Instagram. And if you want to drag your feet or make excuses or get defensive or you don't like change, I don't need it, I don't want it, I'm here to tell you, you're wrong. You absolutely need to be on Instagram. The reason I'm stressing that is because it is the best platform to network as a reseller on. There's tons of hashtags you can be using to get noticed. You can search by hashtags. Guess what? Guys, you can go on Instagram and search for hashtags for reseller boxes and find folks who sell them. You can build up a following and make new friends, and you could have 20 people message you every single day about, I saw this box, I saw this wholesale lot, I saw this auction. That's generally where we get our stuff, and Casey gets his, is through connections. It's through people who send me an email and say, hey, I got 100 plush. Before I go anywhere else with this, do you want it? So you need to be building up those networkings, the connections, meeting other resellers, interacting with other resellers. Set aside 10 or 15 minutes a day. Set aside, 8 minutes twice, once in the morning, once at night. Set a timer, scroll through for 8 minutes, comment on people's stuff, like people's posts, follow people, go into the reseller hashtags. If you need to know what hashtags are hot, check out my posts, Megan's posts, Casey's posts, Sydney's posts, any of the big YouTubers or whatever, well-known people that have a lot of followers. Just look at what the hashtags they're using. Go into those, follow those people, like those people. A lot of us have been doing these things called gain trains recently, where I gained almost 1,000 followers in one night doing a gain train. So just get on there. You got to start somewhere, but I'm here to tell you, if you're not on Instagram, you are doing not only yourself a disservice, you are doing your business a disservice. And it's not just about the wholesale. It's about a lot of different things that you can learn about when you network on Instagram. There's so many other resellers on there. You can get connections for wholesale, sure, but you can also learn about a ton of stuff that maybe you didn't know you needed to know about until you get on there and make these connections. So another out of the box way of thinking, if you want to get tons of inventory at once, wholesale. Now this isn't technically wholesale, but it's the same idea. You want to get a bunch of stuff all at one time, is to do buyouts. Start going to online. I have to mute my phone because it's about to start blowing up. Sorry about that. The whole idea is to get a ton of inventory in all at once. So you can buy storage units. You can look online. There's online places to do that. You can go in person. So you can buy out storage units. You can buy out estate sales. You can call around to different, there's not like the local ones that are run by family, but they have businesses that do estate sales for families. You can call around to them and see if they offer anything at the end, if they would be willing to call you. But with the estate sales, I do have to warn you, it's a take all or nothing kind of deal. When you make a deal with these management places, they call you at the end of the estate sale, and whatever's left, they want you to take it all for one price. And it's not like you can go in and cherry pick. Like when you go to an estate sale and look through everything, you're going to take it all, and that's it. You can do the same with yard sales, although I don't know how many yard sales are really happening right now. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but you can put out ads for yourself that you go to yard sales at the end and help haul away what's left. People don't want to put it back in their house. They don't want to deal with it. So for a couple, but they may even pay you to come take it away, right? But those are all other ways where you can get a ton of stuff really fast. Jamie says, I need to sell more boxes. I do have inventory coming out of my ears. That I have health issues that make it hard to list. I really need to make sure the buyer is paying more than I would pay. Not paying more than I would pay. Yes, we're going to talk about that at the end. So actually there's tons of places online, Penny, where you can go to learn Instagram. A lot of them are free. They have social media crash courses online and stuff like that. All right, so that's all the wares. Now, how you want to go about buying your wholesale, I'm going to tell you the number one rule, unless you're doing mystery boxes, which I don't necessarily recommend mystery boxes unless they're from a really trusted source. That's kind of like it's a rule, but it's not a rule because there's a gray area. I personally tell people never to get mystery boxes unless they're like from Sydney or Megan. You know what I mean? There's one girl that's really popular. I always forget her name. She's on Instagram. She's really popular, tons of followers. She sells mystery boxes all the time. Lindy Glenn has opened them on her channel. A lot of resellers really trust her, and I can never remember her name. Anyway, I digress. I don't recommend mystery boxes unless you really trust the source. So the number one rule, you need to have a manifest. Don't blind buy anything when you're doing wholesale. Don't blindly buy anything. Make sure, even if it's coming from me, make sure I give you a manifest. Always demand a manifest. You want a list of everything that's going to come, and you want tons of really good pictures. Tons. Don't just take a picture of the top of the box and show me the two $40 remotes and then tell me the rest of the box is filled up with cable remotes. You know what I mean? You want to get really good photos of a lot of the stuff. Now, granted, you're not going to get individual pictures of everything. If someone says they have 1,000 pairs of blue jeans, you're not going to get 1,000 different pairs of jeans, but you want to manifest. 100 of those are Old Navy, 200 are Torrid, 250 are silver, etc. And you just want, a dozen pictures or so of the jeans. Just prove that these brands are in the box, that they're in good condition. But always demand the manifest, and always want pictures. And also make sure you're dealing with a trusted seller. If it's a business, if it's someplace like Bulk or ThreadUp, clearly you can ask friends, have you ever bought from there? You can look if they have any reviews online. You can see if anybody's done YouTube videos about them. You can talk to people. Most of the times, though, when you hear about a place to get wholesale from, you're getting it by word of mouth because you've made those connections. I'm so adamant that you guys need to make. You need to be making your social connections. So usually you're going to hear about a place to get wholesale inventory from a friend or someone you know in the community, someone you've networked with, someone you trust. They'll tell you, I've already purchased from here. This is great. Let's try it. You should try it. Or like Megan contacted me a couple weeks ago and says, have you ever bought from this person? Did you see this? She's running a sale, which I'll get into when my boxes get here. And I decided to go and try it because it was cheap enough. Now, Megan had never purchased from them before, but she had just made a purchase. She bought it and decided to try it. So I did too. Then I called Casey and I'm like, bro, you need to get on this. You need to buy it. So that's usually how you're going to hear about it. Your friend is going to buy from them and then they're going to call you or text you or whatever. And you're going to get excited. And then you're going to tell your friend who tells two friends. That's why networking is so, so important. So just do your research, though. Make sure that you do your research. Look at the reviews. Pay attention. Have people said anything bad about them? Have people said anything good about them? Whether, it's buying return pallets from Target all the way down to these individual sellers on Poshmark. Just do your research. Ask for a manifest. Ask for photos. Know what you're getting into. And by the way, speaking of knowing what you're getting into, you need to do your research on the items you're buying. We deal with a lot of remorse and people being upset when they purchase wholesale because people don't understand wholesale. Okay, so you're buying a massive amount of inventory at once. And typically when it's coming from a place like Bulk or, return pallets or just big pallets from big companies, remotes, were the places you get those from. When you get big lots like that, you're going to have to account for the fact that 10% of the lot off the top is going to be crap. It's going to be trash. You're going to have to get rid of it and you're not going to be able to sell it. And that is a rule of thumb. That is a rule of thumb. Not so much from these smaller boxes you're buying from other sellers. If you're getting a mystery box of 20 items from Sydney, no, not 2 of them are going to have to go in the trash. She's probably going to have picked that out and given you 20 good items. But when you're buying really big, massive amounts, typically that's what we account for. That is a rule of thumb. When we get, 5,000 remotes, we know 500 of them are going to be junk, whether it's from corrosion in the batteries or they just don't work. You're also usually going to have to put a lot of work in. Remotes come to us dirty, filthy. We have to clean them. Clothes, when you buy huge boxes full, they're usually stuffed in there so they can get them all in there. They're going to require probably washing, steaming to get the wrinkles out. I personally cannot recommend ever getting used clothing in your home in any type of way, whether you pull it off the rack at Goodwill, off a table at a yard sale, or get it through a wholesale lot. You should be washing it, especially if you're planning on listing them one by one. You should be washing them. You really should. And you shouldn't be surprised when you have to. And you shouldn't be mad when they're wrinkled. Here's the thing that people don't understand about wholesale. It doesn't come to your house in the box ready for you to pluck out and start photographing and listing. You've got to put the work in. You got to go through it. You got to figure out, what 10% or whatever off the top is going to go bye-bye, not be able to be sold. And then you're going to have to probably do some cleaning, some testing, some steam cleaning. It doesn't necessarily always come to your door ready to pluck out and be photographed. Sometimes it does, and that's great. But as a general rule of thumb, wholesale is not, it's just not what people think it is. And we get a lot of people who have a lot of remorse after they've purchased a wholesale lot on a liquidation lot. Liquidation lots for less, Shopify. Like, I didn't expect them to be wrinkled, and they get mad. Well, sorry, they're wrinkled. You bought 100 shirts and it was $20 to ship it to you, so they were crammed in a box. You know what I mean? Or people will say, I didn't realize that these only sold for X amount on eBay. I wouldn't have paid X amount per piece. Well, then you should have done your research, and that's what I'm here to tell you tonight, right now, with tough love. I'm going to clap my hands, beg my remote. Do your research before you buy. If it's something that you're not familiar with, something that you've never sold, before you make a bid on an auction on an online site, before you pull the trigger and press pay with PayPal, do your research. If you know you're paying $2 per piece, make sure you can make a profit, period. And you have to remember that a lot of these places have fees, and then there's shipping. So you have to account for that. Most of these places have fees. I cannot express that to you enough. We charge 10% on our Shopify. Bulk, I think, is 10 or 20%. Most of these places charge fees, period. Bottom line, it's across the board. It's normal. It's not anybody trying to do anything sneaky or get more money out of you. It's pretty much standard for the industry. That's what I was trying to say. It's industry standard. So let's say you're on bulk, you found a lot, and it's going to come out to 50 cents a piece per item if you put it in a bed right now. Don't forget to include the fact that they're going to charge you that fee. That's industry standard fee, and then the shipping. And I think a lot of people stumble on that too and then get upset and feel like they paid too much. I wouldn't have paid $3 a piece because I know I can only make X amount. I only would have paid $2 a piece. So do all your research ahead of time. Add in the approximate cost of fees, the shipping, and the total price of the lot, or what the auction bid will be. Ahead of time, divide that by amount of pieces. That's how much you're paying per piece. Know ahead of time what you can sell each piece for so that you can make a profit. And then from there, you can decide, well, okay, I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to buy it. I'm going to put my auction or my bid in on this auction, and my high point will be here. It's just a little bit of research and a little bit of knowing ahead of time. Figure out how much per piece it's going to be for that lot, and then know what you can make per piece. And then you have your high point of what you're willing to pay. When you're selling wholesale, I want to point this out. When you're selling wholesale, especially when you're coming to us to put your items on our Shopify, please don't think you're going to get eBay prices. I can, for the life of me, not understand why folks think you're going to sell stuff wholesale at eBay prices. Nope. Here's some more tough love. If you want eBay prices, you're going to have to list the items on eBay, period. If you want those kinds of prices for your items, you will need to list them one by one on eBay and get those prices. If you want to offload 100 shirts all at one time, you're not going to get 15, 20 bucks, 30 bucks a shirt. That's not how wholesale works. You may know that's what they go for on eBay because you're a reseller. You may have thought that's what you were going to get per shirt when you first sourced them. But if you're not willing to put in that work and list them one by one on Posh or eBay or wherever, you're not going to get those prices. That is not how wholesale works. Wholesale works because it's a whole lot of stuff all at one time for a really good deal, for a really good price. No one should be losing money. But you as a seller, if you're selling wholesale, need to realize you're going to get wholesale prices, not eBay prices. And you're most likely 99.999% of the time when you're selling off your stuff in lots or wholesale, you're selling to another reseller. You have to give them room for profit. You can't say, I want $40 per pair for my silver jeans. You can sell them for $50. You can make $10 a pair. No, they can't. There's shipping. There's eBay fees. There's no room for money there. If you want the $40 for your silver jeans, list them yourself. Because you got to put yourself in their shoes, which we should all be able to do because we're all resellers. When you as a reseller go looking for these wholesale lots, these liquidation buys, these boxes from other resellers, you're looking, what can I make? If I pay $2 a piece, what can I make? And so when you're selling it to another reseller, when you're on the other side, you have to remember that you're selling to a seller who wants to buy all this stuff to resell it to make a profit. So you can't charge exorbitant amounts. That's just not how wholesale works. And you also need to keep fees and shipping in mind when you're selling as well as when you're purchasing. So when you go to price all the stuff in your lot, you got to remember to leave room for that reseller to profit, but you also got to leave room for the shipping and the fees. So don't expect to, if you're getting out of clothing and you want to sell all your stuff off, and I see this a lot. I see this a lot. So let's say I know that all my inventory, if I sold it tomorrow on eBay, that all my inventory was worth $60,000. I'm not going to be able to box up all 2,000 pieces of my inventory and sell it to someone for $60,000. That's just not how it works. Maybe 4,000, maybe 5,000, depending on what you have. I mean, you can charge, up to 5 to 10 a piece if it's really, really good, expensive stuff or has new tags or anything like that. But you're not just, and I see this all the time. Like I legitimately see exactly this in emails sent to the liquidation lots for less. Hi, I'm getting out of clothes. I have 500 pieces listed on eBay right now. I want to sell all 500. Retail value is $50,000 and the resale value I have them up for is $20,000. Well, we're not going to find any buyers for you. Sorry, buddy. Nobody wants to pay $20,000 for 500 pieces. We're resellers. You know what I mean? Maybe $2,000 at the most, depending on what you have. You see what I'm saying? So when you're selling your stuff off, also keep in mind you have to leave room for profit. You have to price it at wholesale prices. So I keep hearing noises, you guys, because it's raining, and I'm like, so if you wonder what I'm doing, it's not ghosts, and I'm not crazy. Rain is pinging. Just remember, keep in mind when you go to sell your stuff off, if you legitimately want what you feel like it's worth, you're going to have to list it yourself, one by one. Or you can buy it all for $1 and flip it all for $2.50 a piece. They get to make money and you get to make money. So why is it so important to move into wholesale? Because it's a really great way to scale up your business. It's not the only way to scale up your business, but it's a great way to scale up your business. If you want to make more money faster, if you want to have more inventory faster, if you want to build up the amount of listings you have on eBay and Poshmark super fast, or if you want to buy a whole bunch of items for $1 a piece and flip them for $2 a piece and double your money like that, it is a great way to do it. You can scale up your business so easily with wholesale. You can quickly and cheaply and affordably get tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of inventory and build up your stores and your closets and have way more items listed. Of course, the more active you are, the more you're listing, the more active listings you have, the more you will sell. So that's a way to scale up. Or you can just buy low and flip high. So you could be buying tons in wholesale and selling off boxes to other resellers and still doubling your money just like that. So it is a very viable, extremely easy and fast way to scale up your business and make more money faster and build up your inventory, your listings, your bank account. Wholesale is just like a super awesome way to scale up and become bigger and better. If you want to spin your wheels in the mud and forever be that person with 200 listings on eBay, complaining about why you're not selling enough, why you're not making enough money, how come I'm not able to do this full time, then you can be that person. Or you can dig in and do the hard work and do the research and figure out where you're going to get your wholesale from and how you're going to get it, and if you're going to use it to build up your inventory or resell it again and make more money. You have to scale up if you want to do this full time. If you want to quit your job, quit working for the man, if you want to be your own boss and work from home and make your own schedule and have that freedom and that peace of mind, you can't continue doing the same things forever. You have to scale up. You eventually have to get bigger. You have to take your capital, reinvest it, take that, reinvest it, take that, reinvest it, and you just have to keep doing that. That's the only way to scale up and get bigger. It's the only way to be full-time. If you're a hobby or part-time seller, clearly this wasn't for you. I'm talking to the folks who want this to be their full-time job, who consistently question why they're not going anywhere, because you're not doing the work. Period. You got to put your head down, roll up your sleeves, and put in the work. And one of those ways is by scaling up with wholesale. Also, it is a good way to get stuff delivered right to your door if you have a bad back like I do, or any kind of disability. Clearly, it's a great idea right now. A lot of places are still kind of like opening up. Some places are still shut down. Some are re-shutting down. There's the mask thing. If you don't really like wearing a mask, you can stay at home and have your inventory sent to you. But yeah, during the shutdown, the wholesale was the way to go. But again, if you have any kind of disabilities, or, it hurts you to be on your feet for too long, or you just don't enjoy thrifting or whatever, you can get it all delivered to you really cheap. So I'm going to go back and catch up in the chat and see what you guys have been saying. While I'm doing that, feel free to throw any questions you have into the chat at me, and then I'll get to all of your questions before I leave you. Let me see what you guys have been saying. I've been seeing it go off. If you have any, pay teenagers for an hour of their time to teach you Instagram. That's an awesome idea. I wish Star would do a video on Instagram. I'm not a pro at it by any means. I just get on there and do stuff. I still don't do stories. So that's part of my do as I say and don't do as I do. If you get on Instagram, you really should be doing the stories. Sydney has told me time and again I should be doing one a day. And I keep avoiding it because I feel old. Get off my lawn. I don't like to learn new things. But I really do need to start doing more stories and more videos on there, like the little 30-second ones, because people like those. Better Barbie's here in the house. Hit the like button. Thanks. I appreciate that. The title is great. Thanks, Jennifer. Don't buy a pig in a poke. I think my grandmother used to say that. I got in late. We'll watch replay. Well, hi, Beth. Welcome in. Yeah. So Mary says there may be another shutdown. Restaurants and bars have closed again here. Who knows? They might close other stuff down again. What was I going to tell you? Oh, the second wave. Everyone thinks there's going to be this huge second wave in the fall. If that were to happen and they preemptively did what they did the first time, we could all be stuck at home and we'd all have to do wholesale, right? I do recommend everyone having a death pile. And until this situation, I was always the person who said, don't have a death pile. Get through your death pile. Don't have it laying around. Y'all build up a death pile if you want to build up a death pile. Seriously, you should probably have a death pile. Because if I learned anything, I learned that not having one was to my own detriment. And you never know what's going to happen. You never know what life is going to throw at you. And you may break your foot. And then you need to stay home for 2 weeks and you have stuff to work on. You can use rolly chairs and roll around your office. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. And I used to be that person that was always like, don't have a death pile. I'm going to spend 5 months cleaning up my death pile. And guess what? That was to my own detriment. Do you need a business tax? Some places require it and some don't, but it's not that hard to get a reseller's license. In fact, I believe Casey has a video on it. I think, but it's not that hard. You can be a sole proprietor. Excuse me. Sorry. And you can get one. They're not that hard to get. It's just like a reseller's license. And you can even show those at stores and stuff to get out of paying taxes. We don't carry ours around and show it anywhere because we don't pay taxes on clothing in Pennsylvania. If y'all didn't know that, they do not charge any taxes on clothing in Pennsylvania. So we don't carry ours around because we typically are buying clothing. So we're not taxed anyway. And then it's also made it kind of easier for the whole state tax thing for us. But I've been getting my inventory from YouTube auctions. Yep. Well, I'll have to watch the beginning again. And the post office is still in business. Yeah. From what I understand, what I was told by our guy, John, who works at our post office, the post office doesn't shut down. Like, even if every employee was somehow sick or not coming to work, the military is supposed to take over and run it. It's like a federal law that's been on the books forever. Some really weird law that goes back to way back when he was saying that they would literally have our servicemen and women come in and deliver the mail before they would shut down the post office. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. We are blessed that we have a really nice guy working at our post office, and we actually chat with him about this kind of stuff. Anyway, that was like a total off-topic tangent. I don't see any more questions or anything coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I went almost an hour. I know I said I was going to cut back to a half hour, but then I picked these topics that require a lot of talking. I just do. I'm like, I'm going to start doing these for half an hour. But let me pick a topic that has tons to cover, tons of questions to answer. So if you guys think of anything later that you forgot to ask, if you have any questions, if you need me for anything at all, the best way to get a hold of me is in my Facebook group. It's called the Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. It is free to join. It is the best reseller group on all of Facebook. And I'm not just saying that because it's my group. It is the best group. Nicest people. Smartest people. It's just a really great group. Links down below. I'm going to go in and change the date on my coupon code I offered you guys too. If you're in the group, you were given a code you can use to get 25% off of my Plush guide so you can learn Plush. I'm going to go in and change the date for 1 more week, so it'll be good through next Tuesday. If you're in the group, you can use that. You can tag me at any time in that group. Fastest way to get a hold of me. But you can also comment down below and I'll get back to you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those are all really great ways to support me and what I do here. Contrary to popular belief, YouTube does not pay that much. It pays literal pennies. It's not that great of a thing. But there's tons of ways you can support all those people that you do watch on YouTube. Subscribe, like their videos, watch their videos, let the ads run, follow them on their other medias, join their Facebook groups. Just, not just for me, for any YouTubers that you enjoy. Those are all ways. You can use the affiliate links in the box down below when you need to go shopping. Just all like little ways you can help support us so that we can keep putting out videos and keep putting out content and spending, the hours of time that we spend on our YouTube channels. That we're not listing inventory or selling something or making money elsewhere. Not just for me. Do it for all the people that you like on YouTube. Support them in all those tiny ways, guys. That's really important. And I guess that's it. I'm going to let you go. If you have anything you want to sell off on wholesale, you can email liquidationlots4less@gmail.com. You can email me at flippinhipposhelp@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys, and spending 50 minutes with me. And listening to everything I have to say, for participating in the comments. Thank you so much for the super chat from Swimmerization for $4.99. Super way to support the channel. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. Go be productive. Go make some money. Go do some research. Learn where to buy wholesale. I'll see you next time. And love you guys. Bye.